Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Christian Metal News. On this show, we'll be taking a look at the latest releases, tours, merch, and more in the world of Christian rock and metal. I've been hoping to make something like this for a very long time now, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. There is some special stuff in this episode that I'm excited for you guys to see. But with that being said, let's get into it. Now, right off the bat, one of the biggest pieces of news in the world of Christian metal this past month is Saving Grace returning. They are an absolutely legendary band in the world of Christian metalcore / hardcore. They announced on social media recently that the secret is we are back. We've been working on new music together since almost a year back, and we were supposed to announce our reunion and New Zealand tour in celebration of The King is Coming, turning 10 years this past year in November. But again, our country entered another extensive lockdown in August. Ending the post with, new music and tour dates will be announced in the coming weeks. And that is incredibly exciting. I'm certainly looking forward to what comes next with Saving Grace. Another big announcement from this past month is LabeledFest 2022, which features such legendary bands as Norma Jean, Emery, and Oh Sleeper. It's going to be coming throughout the Southeast, West Coast, and Texas. All of the locations are up on the screen right now. Now, in other news, there has been a lot of new music this past month, and instead of just going through and listing out every single song that was released, I thought I'd do something a bit different. So here's sort of a recap, starting off with metalcore of some of the latest releases. Now, if none of that was heavy enough for you, there were also a lot of death metal and deathcore releases this month as well. Here's a bit of a snapshot of that. Finally, there are some other great hard rock and metal that came out this month. Here's a bit of that. Links to all of these songs are down in the description. Go check them out and support the bands. And when it comes to tours, there are some currently ongoing ones that you won't want to miss. In particular, the Lightbreaker tour, which I mentioned because I'm going to be at the May 19th show at the Chain Reaction. You also won't want to miss Striper, who is currently on tour as well. Disciple will be on tour starting in June, and August Burns Red starting in July. The Devil Wears Prada also recently announced their Zombie tour, which is really exciting. Links to all of these tours, the dates, the tickets are down in the description. So definitely go check those out. The band Refiner has also announced their new EP, Firewalker. And now I'm excited to share with you a bit of a special segment. A few days ago, I got to talk with the band UnWorthy about their latest single and some future plans. Here's that. I'm joined right now by Dennis and Jordan of the band UnWorthy. They just released the song The Root of All Evil, which features Robert from the band Searching Serenity. On that note, what did the songwriting process look like for this song, and how did you end up deciding to feature Robert from Searching Serenity?
Dennis and I really liked the ending of Heavy Worship, where it kind of goes into like a deathcore-y, death metal kind of vibe, where he's got those like highs and it's got like, it's just really crazy. And I was like, man, like we should write a couple songs in more like in that style. So towards the end of writing In the Face of Death, I started playing around with really low tunings, and I came up with a couple riffs. So I think the beginning half of that song I actually wrote back in like December, maybe November, and then they were kind of just sitting there because I was kind of just feeling burnt out writing a bunch of songs. But yeah, it was definitely aiming more towards a darker feel than what our previous release had. And it was just a lot of fun to write. I got to try out a lot of different things I've never really tried playing before. And we knew that we wanted to have a guest vocalist on this song. And I've known Robert for a couple of years now through a mutual friend on Instagram, Kevin, or he goes by Kevino. He's a shredder kid, and me and Robert met through him. So we've kept in touch, and finally I hit him up. I was like, dude, like, I think you'd be perfect for this song. Like you got that perfect deathcore voice. Like that dude is just like awesome. And I hit up Dennis like, dude, we gotta get Robert Manzone from Searching Serenity on this track. And once I showed him a song, he's like, oh heck yeah, dude. So we were super stoked to have him, and super stoked. He agreed to do it. You know, it was a blessing. It was awesome, and he killed it. He did an amazing job.
What did inspire this song? What was the original inspiration?
One day I came across this, like, I guess it's like a documentary, and it was called The American Gospel in Christ Alone. And it's basically calling out like false preachers and asking, like, you know, what really is the core of your pastor's sermon that you go to church and hear every Sunday? Is the point of the sermon you as a person, or is the point of the sermon Jesus Christ? And, you know, basically how sermons have become nothing more than a TED talk with a Bible verse, as I heard one Christian comedian put it one time. There was a pastor that I had been seeing show up in my YouTube feed a lot. And I guess he's recently caused some controversy where a Christian band was on his podcast and people were saying that this guy is a false teacher. His name's Todd White. And I had watched some videos about Todd White, And at first glance, I thought that he was, because I saw that he would toured with Korn, and he was like helping Korn like reach their fans and like preaching to them. So I was like, oh, this guy's pretty awesome. I'll give him a check. I'll check him out. And as I started watching him, I realized that he followed Kenneth Copeland and Jesse Duplantis. And I remember years ago seeing an Inside Edition investigative report talking about the billions of dollars that these pastors make and how they spend like $30 billion on like a private jet because they don't want to be around the everyday normal person. And, not that I think there's anything necessarily wrong with people in the church having money, but when they make that's all they're about. Like it's, and of course you've heard the prosperity gospel, bands like Creations did the song, The Wolf, the Clothes, where they talk about, pastors that's all they care about is their money is their God. I even remember watching a pastor say straight up that Jesus Christ wasn't the only begotten Son of God, that we are all God's children. And I was like, no, you're taking that way out of context. John 3:16 clearly says that, Jesus is the only begotten of the Father. So it was things like that. And of course, Kenneth Copeland being like the main one, that was kind of the inspiration for that song.
Excluding those you featured, who would be your dream guest feature on a song?
I won't say his name right now because we are trying to talk to him about doing our next song. So, and the funny thing is, somebody, Ninja Loot, said they are also talking to the same person. So that's as much as I'm going to say about that. I'm pretty sure he's on board, and I'm pretty sure it'll blow people away when they find out who it is.
I guess this really ties in. Do you have anything in the works we can look forward to?
Yeah.
Well, we get to do another song the same day that we recorded Root of All Evil. And then Jordan has an instrumental for another track. And then we're also planning on rewriting or re-recording the very first song that I wrote for this project, which is titled Unworthy, which is kind of, in a way, like my personal testimony, like the song that you did the reaction for, What Little Time I Had Left. It's in the same vein as that.
The final question is, where can people find your music? Where can we, support you?
Yeah, the first place I would say is check our Bandcamp, unworthyhxc.bandcamp.com. That has pretty much all our music. I believe it has the very first EP with the original version of Unworthy on there. It has Nailed to the Cross and then all the stuff that Jordan and I have done so far. You can also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/unworthyhxc, instagram.com/unworthyhxc. I think Jordan created us a TikTok. We're also on Spotify.
And then even if you're just like an Instagram person, go to Instagram and hit the link in bio, and there's a link tree in there, and you could get to all of our social media presences and all of our streaming sites through that link tree.
Anyway, though, that about wraps up this first episode of Christian Metal News. Huge thanks to UnWorthy for being willing to do this interview. Definitely go check out their music, support them. They're a really great band. And also huge thanks to you guys for watching this. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of this type of video. I've never done anything like this before. And so any suggestions you have would be really appreciated. And also, I know I probably didn't get to every single piece of news out there. There was a massive amount to cover, and this is just what I was able to find. Anyway, though, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe, and let me know what you thought of this video, and if you'd like to see something like this again. And see you later.